consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it.
You get what you strive for. So if you're striving to change, it will show. But if you're striving to be deceitful, and you ain't striving to change, but you're using that as an instrument to play on individual mind, because you know this individual tolerance is kind of high. So this individual will say, I've been tolerant with you, but if you keep using that as a gimmick, sooner or later, that will in itself approach you, you will be exposed. Then your self-centeredness, you're gonna crumble your own self-centeredness.
And as the years, days, and months turn, then you know you can adapt to that person, and that person can adapt to you. It just has to be that the individual or the party is willing. Willing and honesty plays a lot in a relationship.
So a way to prevent conflict then would be to make the solution the primary goal instead of I was right, you was wrong, I'm winning and you losing.
But you never know what the solution is.
With consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it. You could receive.
Welcome to our show, Real Talk. I'm your host, Amina. The views expressed here are strictly ours. Take what you like and leave the rest. With me today is my husband, Robert Johnson.
Hello.
And my nephew, Dassini. Welcome, you guys. Our topic today is how do you prevent conflict in a relationship when you're self-centered yourself? Conflict is a normal part of a healthy relationship. But when you're unhealthy and self-centered, this is what causes the problem. And if it's not dealt with, you avoid it, this is really tragic. So what do you guys have to say with that? I'm going to start with Dassini. Islam.
Well, to be, you say that conflict is essential to a healthy relationship, am I correct?
I said conflict is part of a healthy relationship because we're different. We don't see things the same way. Mm-hmm. So naturally you're going to have a conflict there. But instead of avoiding it, tightening up, loosening it up, just avoiding not saying nothing, how do you, and you self-centered yourself now, don't forget that. How do you deal with that?
Well, that's a relationship that's never going to last. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're self-centered, this is unhealthy in itself because you're going to be self-centered, you might as well be self-centered to be by yourself, you know, because if that's what it's all about. You, that's what self-centered consists about. It's about your needs, your wants, your desires, your likings. If she don't like what you like, or if you're a woman, if he don't like what she likes, and everyone wants to conform to the world is around me. That's what self-centered is like. You're the orbit, the spinning around you. You're the nucleus. You're the sun, and everything you're not. So you deal with it, and to sum it up in a nutshell, you have to eradicate all self-centeredness because you have to well be on yourself and go even to the point, excuse my language, but to have sex with yourself. You might as well be self-centered, leave the other part alone, because we say relationship. This comes, you know, when you go to ship, it's like a messenger ship, scholarship, all these ships means coming together now. This is what this hub. You get on the ship. Biggest things is under the compromise, like me and Najee, we always talk about, you know, the head of Bedrock, we talk about to have a healthy relationship. You have to understand we come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different upbringing, so it's naturally going to be conflict. And then how you deal with this. And not to say like me, like, oh, this guy, you looking at me like, nah, I may have some self-centered attributes about myself. I feel things should go my way. Like a lot of us, especially if you feel you are right. Mm-hmm. You know, if you feel you are right and you don't want to compromise and you want to stand on this, and if your character is such, then an individual ought to have to respect you for having such uncompromising character. You have to be, certain relationships is different. It's what type of relationship are you in? What are you looking for? Because what relationship will you model your lifestyle after?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Johnson, what do you have to say?
As he said, you know, to piggyback what he said, I would agree to relationships. Relationships is a two-way street. Being selfish and self-centered is not a part of a relationship, but it does occur, you know, in relationships because, as it was mentioned, you know, it goes both ways. You know, when one understands that, you know, in a relationships there will be arguments, there will be discommunications, you know, and you know, one just have to find the party have to find a solution to you know, the situation that's being, you know, at hand at that time, and not take it to the extreme.
But when you're self-centered, do you think a self-centered person would find that difficult? Because that's the problem. You're self-centered and you're really thinking about yourself, and but you're working on yourself. You're thinking about yourself, but you're actually working on yourself. So you're finding, how difficult is it when you're self-centered, working on a relationship when basically you're the one that's causing the problem?
Well, my opinion personally, if the individual is working on self, as far as being self-centered, then if he don't have no skills as to being, you know, in a relationship, then he probably needs some counseling. You know, trying to work on being not being self-centered on your own, it's going to take some time and patience. You know, and if you don't want to have to adhere with that time and patience, then, you know, that's a part of being self-centered too. You know, you have to get a party from the outside, you know, that knows about it and can lift you up on some of the upbringings of, you know, what to expect and what to be aware of.
Right.
As far as self-centeredness is concerned.
Well, back to the conflict. When you're in conflict, that means you're feeling threatened. You're feeling threatened behind whatever it is that you're wanting to do, or whatever your desire is. So you feel threatened behind it, whether you're self-centered or not. You still feel threatened. That's what causes the conflict. One of the ways that would be a good way, what do you guys think, if to solve the conflict, Dasanine, what do you think about this win or lose attitude when you're in the relationship? You want to solve a conflict. Do you want to win, or do you want to solve this conflict, or is it all about winning?
What it all is about is adherence to a law that has been laid down that will be beneficial to all parties, from a party that's unbiased, neither male or female, but it's been laid down for us to follow a certain structure. As far as this self-centeredness, this all I have to say about that. Centeredness is self-centeredness is a disease.
It's a disease,
unless
true.
it's treated.
Right. But I'm saying,
Excuse me.
go ahead. If you're a self-centered person, you know that you're self-centered, but you're working on yourself. You're self-centered. This is what you is. You know you're self-centered. You can't help it. This is how you is. But you're working on yourself. Now, in this relationship, being self-centered, how do you prevent the conflict when basically you are the one that's causing it, but still,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like this right here. It's no longer your test, no longer no more. It's not up to you. It's up to your mate now. Once you say, listen here, brother, I'm self-centered, and I'm working on not being self-centered. I've been self-centered for such and such a long time, and I looked in the mirror and I realized I have to deprogram myself to rejuvenate myself so this self-centeredness will not be me. Now, it's a process. Now, do you have the patience to deal with that process with me, or are you intolerant? Because you have to have tolerance when you're in a relationship, so everything is a challenge. So once this person say, you know what, I know you're self-centered, and I can see that you're taking a little step to change because certain things you have already changed. I know you would have complained, and then usually you would have even did it with attitude. The attitude is not even there no more. You're working on yourself, you know? And so then that would be up to that couple to see if they want to deal with that to make their marriage last and take on these challenges in life and these conflicts to see in the end, you know what I'm saying? Because we are promised if we do that, in the end, it will be good, you know, because you're going to get what you see. If you're a self-centered individual, and you just happen to have this condition placed upon you, but you have a fight in you to know that this is not natural and that you want to change, then you will be helping, supporting, and assisting with that change that you need and that you want. Because we already told you, you only in life, you only can get what you strive for. So if you're striving to change, it will show. But if you're striving to be deceitful, and you ain't striving to change, but you're using that as an instrument to play on individual mind, because you know this individual tolerance is kind of high. So this individual will say, I've been tolerant with you, but if you keep using that as a gimmick, sooner or later, that will in itself approach you, you will be exposed. Then your self-centeredness, you're gonna crumble your own self-centeredness. And so it's just, and if a person is self-centered in a relationship, doing little things outside your relationship and help you to do things to do good to your relationship, because you're gonna be thinking like, man, this is the best thing to me. In my essence, I'm going on my way to treat everybody else good and better, but then right when I come home, I treat this person like crap. Then you're gonna realize you can't do that.
I'd like to also add that just hypothetically speaking, say for instance I'm that self-centered person, I'd have to first be willing in order to change, you know, and I would have to ask my mate, you know, and work with the mate as far as when she detected to bring it to my attention, you know, and to guide me, you know, as far as, okay, well, baby, you know what, let's sit down, let's compromise. I think that you're being self-centered right now. I think and then I have to be willing to listen to her. I have to be willing to sit down and we communicate amongst each other in order to help me work through it, you know, and it goes both ways, you know. Just because I'm working on myself, she can't be, you know, the more aggressive one, and I think this is kind of to the point to what you was asking me, where you said, well, is it right or is it wrong? Well, just because I'm acknowledging my self-centeredness, then she can't be saying, see, I told you I'm right. You know, right. It's not about right and wrong. It's about, you know, working through the situation for a solution.
Right. That's it right there, the solution. There's different ways to resolve conflict. One of the ways to resolve it is listen to what is being felt. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I say you listen to what's being felt, you feel me. Mm-hmm. You watch my body language, you feel me. You actually get into me and you feel what I'm talking about. What you think about that?
And you can transition yourself to actually feel.
Not feel like that.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you're saying.
You understand where I'm coming from.
You understand. You basically, like you said, you read a person's body language. You get in, you vibe off of the energy to you like.
No, okay, look. For instance, I say, I'm so happy, but I'm looking at you like this.
Oh, listen.
You see, you understand what I'm saying? You read, you listen, and you read.
Your handshake is not matching your smile. Forces the energy. We can feel the fakeness and the deception, the deceitfulness.
You're commanding, but you're not happy about it.
This is one of These are resolutions to listen for what is felt as well as what is said. I said, yeah, I understand. What did you get out of that? What did I really say?
That was the point I'm trying to make too, is well, like that's what I got back is you just let this person listen to your words. So you're saying yeah, but really your body language is showing you're plotting evil revenge right now. You're saying you're like yeah, I understand, but you're thinking I got you on the back end. Like I'm gonna deal with that. Now this is not good. But also I want to tell you too, there cannot be. This self-centered thing is really intense, and when you look at it circumspectively, which means you look at all angles, man. Whatever given to you, you have to look at it as a test to eradicate. You just don't want to eradicate when you say I'm in the process of deprogramming, you want to deprocess all of that self-centeredness. So you cannot say, yeah, if I'm saying this, and then you can't say, like the example that you just made, you set boundaries on, you're trying to change so she can't throw it in your face. See, I tell you, see, an individual can, because that's you got to use that as a fuel for more, because still it's about you. It's about the boundaries, what you don't like. You can't say that. It's about your time and what you. That's a part of still self-centered. A person have a free will to say what they want to say, and you have to take it as, man, I deserve this. She didn't say this to me for sure. Or you have to learn to take it with a smile, to learn genuineness to you, and then certain situations, steam. Talk about it when the steam goes down, when it's some more.
That's another way to deflate conflict. Make conflict resolutions the primary rather than the win or being right. Mm-hmm. Do you want this problem? Do you want to solve the conflict, or do you want to be right, or do you want to win?
In some instances, you get, when individuals try to change in relationships, as far as their wrongdoings in the relationship, conflict, self-centeredness, dysfunctional behaviors, the party that wasn't, being all that, then they tend to change too, because now they getting this individual to see where his faults was or where her faults was, and now they saying see, so you can't really throw it in the individual's face. You have to sit back and it's like when you have a child, and the child do something right, you commend them. Hey, that's nice. Thank you, and instead of sitting back and throwing that frown and saying, that's exactly what I was dealing with. You can't really, taunt them with the things that you still seeing. You have to just keep bringing it to the awareness of the individual and ask questions and be open-minded. Because if you don't be open-minded, then you'll find yourself being self-centered as well.
Right. So a way to prevent conflict then would be to make the solution the primary goal instead of I was right, you was wrong, I'm winning and you losing.
But if you never know what the solution is, you're in trouble. That's the main thing, is about knowing the solution. And then once you know the solution, it's about, that's why in the book it said, man, these people are like animals that's carrying books. It don't matter if you had the solution. Like a person had a solution. I got the solution. I never apply it. I got the medicine, but I'm getting sicker and sicker and sicker because I never take it, so I never get healed. It's about applying the solution, and a part of that applying the solution is what I'm trying to tell us as men, me and myself, because I'm married as well, I have a wife, and I deal with conflict myself. And it's certain things, is this if you're trying to make change, and you want to change, or if you give someone a claim against you, and they want to keep throwing that claim up against you, you have to accept that without no animosity towards that. That's gonna be their own test and their own. Everybody have their own test and they own. Everybody sent for so, because that's gonna come in, and then even in your heart, always want the genuineness and the best. It's hard, but I'm not telling you something like, oh, this is. It's always, remember to say, it's always easier said than done. Because it's easier said than done don't mean it's not done. You know, it just means it takes more effort to do an action than to speak something.
Yeah. Let's go to the next point. Focus on the present. Do you know what I mean when I say focus on the present? We're trying to resolve a conflict in this relationship. Now, if you're focusing on the present, the here and the now, you ain't talking about what happened 50 years ago, 10 minutes ago. You're talking about what's going on right now. If we keep the focus on the present, then the conflict would not, it would be more apt to get resolved. Would you say, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, you're right. You know, you can't bring up the past tense for what happened, today. You can't you can't mention the future, for what you think might happen tomorrow, So, yeah, you focus basically on the presence.
Definitely.
That's very well put. Focus on the presence, and when you focus on the presence. When you focus on the presence, don't be doing the things of the past though. Then saying let the past go, and we ain't. You know what I'm saying? When we say focus, because when you focus on when you let the past die, it's dead in that moment. So whatever conflict we had is dead, it's buried. So we gonna move on. But if you keep resurrecting and you keep, so when we say the present, it gotta really be the presence. Don't tell me, don't focus on the past, but you doing things in the present that still you did in the past. We gotta let the past go all the way.
I also have a little saying that says, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That's why they call it a present.
Okay, that's good.
So, that goes a little bit with what you just said about the present, focusing on the presence.
Right. Another thing is another resolution to the conflict would pick your battles. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to say anything about what that person just did? Because when you get into conflict, you drain. This is draining, and it makes you sick and tired. Is it really worth it? Pick your battles. Just because he didn't stop doing what you wanted him to do, or she didn't stop doing what you wanted her to do, is it really worth it to even get into a conflict about that? Pick your battles. What you guys got to say about that?
I got to say like this is about the measure of extent. First of all, people need to learn to be in healthy relationships. This is certain thing that's called compatibility, and when people are compatible, they get together, they get along better. When people are uncompatible, it's called a conflict of interest. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm interested in this, and you interested in this. So it's a conflict in our interests because we're interested in two different things. We gotta have similar traits that unite us. If I'm an active individual, I'm not going to want to be inclined to be with someone that's inactive. I'm not going to want to be with someone that want to sit at home and eat, because the whole time I'm out going about, I'm going to be thinking about that person. Oh, why she's not with me? I wish I were. But if we had the same nature, we're going to be out doing the same thing. So it's about compatibility, and that
plays a major role. It plays a major role. Compatibility is a good it plays a major role, as you said, but also you have to realize that relationships period is based on the individuals, and as the years, days, and months turn, then you can adapt to that person, and that person can adapt to you. It just has to be that the individual or the party is willing. Willing and honesty plays a lot in a relationship, because I'm quite sure, when somebody is dishonest with you or not willing, like you said, oh, let's go for a walk, and they're not active. They don't want to be a part of. You always want to do something active, and they want to. I think I'm gonna just sit here and fold clothes, or I think I'm gonna watch TV. You know, then they have to be willing, and they have to be honest with what they're doing, and also the next individual have to be accepted. They have to accept. Once you can accept, as my wife was saying, once you can accept it, then, like, if she don't want to go walking, and I'm like, well, all right, pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battles. I'm not gonna argue with her about going walking, but now we will argue if it's a money dispute, as far as bills and stuff and like that is concerned, and that was taught to me by my imam. He was like, well, Rob, if your wife want to paint the kitchen green, and you don't think that the kitchen should be green, then don't argue with her about it. It's a small thing. Let her do it. He said, but now at the same time, if she want to go buy a $50,000 car, and y'all still got bills to be paid, now that's something that you want to argue about, because it's more detrimental to the family as a
what
whole.
it is. Yeah, pick your battles. And this last thing before we close, be willing to forgive. Now, to resolve a conflict, be willing to forgive whatever it was that was going on, because if you don't forgive, you sitting over here mad and still hating on this person right here, and this person probably done forgot whatever it is that they did in the first place. So the forgiveness is for your own soul. It's not so much for that person, but it's for you, to prevent you from getting an ulcer, forget you from getting a headache. That's a name?
Auntie, that was very well put, and that's the essence of everything. Out of everything that we talked about, if we forget about the things that happened in the past, if we can learn to compromise, if we can learn to be tolerant, and sometimes, like you said, if an individual don't want to do something, and then you want to do something, and the individual say, I like to go walking, and you say, I don't like to go walking, when you say, I'm gonna go up and go walking, that'll make that person be more appreciative too, because that person gonna say, you did that for me. When you do things for an individual wanna be appreciative to say, she usually don't do that, but she did that for me, so that make a person feel good on both ends, then to know that I pleased that individual, and then when I did that, that individual just didn't make it seem like it was nothing. That individual appreciated me getting up and walking with. Everybody want to be appreciative. Even that's what we do when we serve our Lord said he is the most appreciative, and he is all forgiving too. So this forgiving is a healing. You can't have a false forgiveness and still holding malice towards individual, because this only be your own sicknesses, you know what I'm saying? It said they think to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they only deceive themselves and realize it not. So we don't want to be, just forgive. If you're going to be in this relationship, be in it till its utmost. If you ain't going to be in, get out of it.
Mr. Johnson? I know. The last thing?
The last thing that I would like to say is I like what you said there. Just because you do something to appease that person doesn't mean that you come back. That's what you said. Doesn't mean that you come back with that. I went walking with you just, because I don't do walking. I went walking with you, so you don't come back on that individual just because you did something to appease them. You do it for your soul, your own soul, and I'll leave it off with that.
Okay. We're going to end our show, and it's been very interesting. This might be a continuation, maybe, on this, but I think it went very well. And anyway, when you know better, baby, you do better. See ya.
See ya.
With consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, you could receive it as long as you can perceive it. You could believe it. Belief is your root. To all your loot. is the weapon. Knowledge is